College football this last weekend was amazing. First and foremost, there was so many different things, so many different headlines, and I look forward to a new week 3. First, Colorado looked great. I'm not going to lie, this last week, there was a big hit on them from the previous week after playing Nebraska. Is this team a fraud? Is Dion a fraud? But I want to give a big kudos to Coach Prime for getting this team ready to play. They came out masterfully against Colorado State and beat them in all levels, right? This was a team that was looked at as a fraud. Shedeur came out, did what Shedeur needed to do. Travis Hunter, first and foremost, played amazingly, right? 2 touchdowns on the offensive side, as well as a pick on defense, playing excellent man coverage. You can't talk enough about this guy. We need to start talking. We need to start putting him in Heisman consideration. And then another big shout out to the offensive line. They played amazing. There was a big knack on them last year. Should have one of the most sacked QBs in college last year. And this last week they played, the offensive line was horrendous. But they showed up this week and had a great job. And I'm super excited for what they did and for the momentum that they have moving forward. Next we have is the Texas Longhorns. This team is the real deal. Texas is back. And it just showed in this last game when they played UTSA. Yes, I know it was UTSA, but it was a dominant performance. These are the kind of games that Texas needs to win and needs to win, not even by a small margin, by a dominant margin, which they did. Unfortunately, Quinn Ewers did go down on an abdominal strain and is week to week from this, just from today, the news from today. But moving forward, Arch Manning, can we talk a little bit about him? He played amazing. Right? Him being the number one player, him being the number one QB in his class, then him coming to Texas and sitting 2 years behind Quinn was huge, right? He has the Manning on his last name, but he just showed that he is not a compensatory pick. He is the real deal. He went out there, balled, threw for over 250 yards, and ran for a 60-yard, 5-yard scramble. I'm excited what they have going on. Texas is in good hands. Next we're going to talk about is Alabama. Kalen Moore is just getting started. Right now, he has Alabama where they need to be. There's not a big drop-off from when Nick left, right? After last week, people were kind of talking about that USF win, but they went into Camp Randall at Wisconsin and hung up 42 points on them. That is actually the first time in over 10 years since a team has came into Wisconsin and put up 40+. That just shows you the dominance of what this Alabama team is doing right now, right? Jalen Milroe is playing great. They have offensive weapons all over the place. This team is finally looking at, like, there's some cohesiveness within the offense, and defense is playing great. I'm excited to see what they do, especially with Georgia coming up soon. Next we're going to talk about is Georgia. They struggled. Right? This isn't the same Georgia performance that we're accustomed to seeing week in and week out. They played a Kentucky team the week before. They lost a game where they gave up 6 sacks and the QBs didn't even go over 100 yards. So this was surprising coming to this team last week for them, and struggling, barely beating Kentucky by 1 point. It wasn't a good stand by Georgia. Georgia right now doesn't have the offensive weapons that they need on the outside like they did a year ago. And they're looking like they're human. This Georgia team isn't the Goliath that we've seen them ravage through the SEC and through the country the last 2 years. I'm hoping that they get it right because they got big bad Bama coming in real soon. And last but not least, we're going to talk about is Fresno State. I don't think Fresno State gets talked about enough. What they're doing in the Mountain West, soon to be Pac-12 in a couple of years, shout out to them, is the only loss this year is to the defending champions, Michigan, which they played to the fourth quarter, a strong game. This Fresno State team has a real chance if they do what they need to do to get a playoff spot by being one of the few group of 5 teams that are going to get an opportunity. I'm excited to see what they do towards the end of the year. You let me know, what was your biggest headline from last week? What are some things you're looking forward to in this college football season? Drop them in the comments below.